LA County health officials report 239 new cases of coronavirus. That is the lowest one-day increase in more than 2 weeks.
Some researchers say California could hit its coronavirus peak this week, but what would that really mean?
And the Grocery Workers Union demanding more action to protect employees from COVID-19. Good afternoon, I'm Ellen Leyva.
And I'm Colleen Sullivan. We are live on ABC7 and streaming live on ABC7.com and on the ABC7 Los Angeles app. We begin with the war of wills between President Donald Trump and several governors over who will decide on opening up the country.
The president has put together a task force saying it's his decision, but governors from the Northeast and West Coast responded by unveiling their own multi-state pacts to coordinate their comeback.
All this as cases in California continue to grow, and some researchers think we could hit our peak in deaths this week.
And meanwhile, the IRS has already started sending out stimulus checks to American families in need of financial aid, with millions more expected to be sent out via direct deposit this week. And here's a look at the local cases in our area. Los Angeles County remains the highest, spiking past 9,400 cases. Riverside County is reporting more than 1,700. Orange County has more than 1,200. San Bernardino is almost at 900, and Ventura is reporting 314 cases. Eyewitness News reporter Josh Haskell has been following all the day's developments. He joins us live with the very latest now. Josh?
Yeah, Ellen, as you mentioned, those numbers continue to climb in the state and in LA County. But Governor Newsom, he is making plans to reopen the California economy, even though President Trump has said that it's his decision. Now, in LA County, we did get some new numbers today. Those numbers, 239 new cases, which is the lowest number of new cases since March 26, with the caveat that lab results are delayed because of the weekend, so they could go back up tomorrow. That brings the total number of cases in the county to 9,420. Dr. Ferrer announced 25 new deaths, bringing the total number of deaths in the county to 320. These new numbers come as Governor Newsom announced a new partnership of Western states, joining with Governors Kate Brown of Oregon and Jay Inslee of Washington State to coordinate on reopening their economies to restart public life and business. We don't have a lot of specifics yet on this plan. Those will be announced tomorrow. Now, confusing all this, a tweet this morning from President Trump that it's his decision for when states will reopen, not governors, although Trump said that he will work with governors. Newsom was asked about this and said collaboration with the federal government will continue.
I have all the confidence in the world moving forward that we'll maintain that collaborative spirit in terms of the decision-making that we make here within the state of California.
The strategies about what happens locally really need to be determined by the conditions locally. And we have a lot of variation across the country. So I know the president's really anxious for us to reopen. We're really anxious for us to reopen. I think everyone knows that reopening is going to be staggered, and we're going to make sure that what we don't do is act with some haste that causes a significant increase.
And we also received some numbers today on testing in LA County. 52,000 tests have been administered in the county, and of that number, 13% of those tested have tested positive. Live at home, Josh Haskell, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Josh, thank you. Earlier models suggested that California might not reach the peak of this crisis until the middle of next month. That may have changed for the better.
A new analysis suggests that the state may be hitting its peak today. Our Rob Hayes is live with more on what that means. Rob?
So weeks go by, Californians have collectively been doing their part. The governor today crediting all the social distancing and stay-at-home efforts for significantly flattening the curve. But at what point will the worst be behind us?
For over a month, Americans have been locked in their homes. Red, spiky coronavirus graphics plastered on every TV. Frustration, fear, and confusion all building as we wait for the tide to turn in the battle against COVID-19. The question now, are we close to that point?
We expect the epidemic to continue with increased bed days, ICU bed days, right through to the end of May.
That projection is for the whole country. But a University of Washington website tracking COVID-19 cases in California expects today to be the peak for hospitalizations at 5,238 beds being used. That's fairly consistent with the actual number of hospitalizations on April 11th, which came to 5,234, according to the California Health Department. Fortunately, neither number is close to the more than 26,000 beds available. But LA County officials say figuring out when COVID cases will top out isn't necessarily that important.
What will indicate a peak is really in retrospect when we see those numbers coming down. And I think really for these purposes, I don't think the peak is either possible to predict at this point or the most useful way to look at it.
Now, LA County did see a relatively low number of new infections reported today, but health officials warn against reading into that too much, saying Monday numbers generally are low because of a lack of testing over the weekend. Reporting live in Glendale, Rob Hayes, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Rob. The coronavirus pandemic is taking a toll on grocery workers who've been working tirelessly to keep stores stocked while trying to stay healthy. Today, their union is speaking out. Eyewitness News reporter Rachel Brown has the details.
The United Food and Commercial Workers International Union represents nearly 1.5 million workers and is America's largest food and retail union. This morning, the union president said at least 30 grocery workers across the country have died from COVID-19 and 3,000 employees are at home sick. He says many lack that personal protective equipment because employers cannot find any or refuse to buy it. The union believes workers should also receive hazard pay and increased sick leave. Now, take a look at this survey conducted by the UFCW. 85% of grocery store workers say they have witnessed customers not social distancing. 81% have witnessed hoarding of food and supplies. 11% of workers have even had to call police over safety concerns.
This is about life or death. Workers are being exposed and they are dying. Simply put, COVID-19 pandemic represents a clear and present danger to our food workers and the nation's food supply. And this danger will only continue to grow unless our elected and political leaders act and the public changes their behavior when they shop.
The union has launched the Shop Smart initiative to improve safety for workers and customers. These are some of the guidelines. Customers should always wear masks and gloves. Don't shop if you feel sick. Take your temperature before you leave home if you need to. Respect distancing guidelines by staying at least 6 feet apart. Do not discard masks and gloves in shopping carts. Apparently, they're seeing a lot of that. The union president says we should not expect walkouts or strikes. He says the employees realize their jobs are so critical right now. They just want to feel supported. And finally, just keeping in mind that these grocery workers are essential employees who are doing their very best to keep us safe and provide us with those essential goods that we need. Rachel Brown, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
LA Unified School District Superintendent Austin Butner says there is currently no timeline for when students will return to class, stressing that the district will not reopen schools until it is safe to do so. He says distance learning will be in place for the remainder of the school year, including summer school. He also mentioned high school seniors will likely have virtual graduation ceremonies. Butner says until there is a clearer picture about testing, treatments, or vaccines, it's impossible to create a plan to safely reopen schools.
We have the resources to help you through these challenging times. Everything you need to know is available at the top of the homepage on abc7.com. You can see who's hiring, get unemployment resources, find a food bank, or use our stimulus calculator. ABC 7 is committed to helping you and keeping you and your family safe.